You know, I'm very concerned because Hirsch received a critical wound that I don't know if he bled out in that truck 2 weeks ago. I don't know if he made it. You know, his phone was in Gaza, but maybe someone said, "Oh wow, there's a phone here in the truck," and they took. You know, I have no way to know. So we feel like we're living in an alternate universe. You know, like I shook your hand when you walked in, but there's a distance between us even when I touch people, because I don't live where you live anymore. You know. Hold on, let me make it bigger. Hold on, let me make it bigger. It took a very long time for us to find out exactly what happened. We found out that he and his friend actually escaped from the massacre in the woods, but they ran with some other friends. They ended up in a bomb shelter that came under heavy fire. Hamas came to the door and were throwing in hand grenades, shot an RPG, machine gun fire, and there were about 30 of these, you know, young people at the festival who were smushed into this very small cement bomb shelter. Most of them were killed. A few of them were trapped under the dead bodies, and they pretended to be dead. And Hirsch and 2 other young men were injured, but were still, they didn't look dead. And Hamas came in with machine guns and said, "Get up and come out." So he stood up with 2 other young men. And the eyewitnesses who we spoke to, everyone we spoke to who was watching from underneath the dead bodies, saw that Hirsch's left arm had been blown off from about the elbow, and he had tied something around it. I was so relieved for their families because I know exactly what they've been going through. And I was just so happy for them that they got to breathe, that their loved ones who've been waiting got to breathe, you know, normally. We are praying all the time, and that someone took him to a hospital, that, you know, they stopped the bleeding and he's getting treatment that he needs. And we are hopeful that the people who were behind, you know, this wonderful release of Judith and Natalie will keep working night and day, but quickly, because in our case specifically, and I'm sure in many other cases, I think he could be dying. And so we don't have time. Oh, throughout the day I say to him, "I love you, be strong, survive. I love you, be strong, survive." And I sometimes when I'm feeling really weak, I say it to myself, be strong and survive.
Can you feel a little bit of her face as well? Can you feel a little bit?
So since he was a little boy, he's been planning for a massive trip around the world, which he has been working hard and saving money, doing any job at all that would come his way. He's been saving money, and he has a ticket for December 27th to go to India and all points east, which his hope is to go for at least a year, maybe 2. And we felt like, you know, he's wanted it since first grade, and we were and continue to be excited for him to hopefully do that trip just with one hand.
Nine years ago, I was filming stuff.
Waiting for
the ambulance, taking his body to the Gaza crossing.
On the 7th of October, we got an information
that Omer is at the Nova Fest. There is sirens and bomb all over the area, the South Discrete area. We went to the shelter. We called Omer. He told us, I'm okay. I'm at the Nova Fest. I'm going to a shelter, and I will call you from there. 3-4 hours later, we got on a video that came from the telegram of the Hamas, and we saw Omer, that he is alive, captured by the Hamas, going to the Gaza Strip.
Yesterday we saw that two mother and daughter get out from Gaza. The Hamas released them out. From the one hand, it's giving me a hope that my son Omer will be out as soon as possible. But on the other hand, it's something that I can't understand how someone can make a negotiation about civilians from other countries and not talking about everyone together. We saw now that there is trucks of drugs and goods for the Palestinian. I ask why my kid Omer, that have a severe chronic disease, colitis, that can kill him if he doesn't have medicine. Why he doesn't get medicine now?
אני ביקשתי שתוכלו...
ג'חנון הוא הציע לנו, אנחנו...
I have a message for Israeli government. The war is only going to stop when all the kidnaps are coming home. Until then, the war is still going on. אני בסדר, אני במסיבה בעוטף. נשאר, אנחנו בעוטף, זה כבר נשמע.
Bring them home! Bring them home! It means that a different person.